15 more simple Minecraft mods. Propeller hats is a mod that enables multiple tiers of propeller hats which can be used to fly around. They are powered by forge energy, so you'll need another form of mod to charge them up, but they kind of are similar to jetpacks and things along those lines, allowing you to fly around in a far more interesting way. There is a bit of a weird noise to them that is pretty obnoxious overall, but overall is a pretty cool and interesting mod. Moving into our next mod, we have pettable bees. This mod lets you pet bees when you right click on them with no item. When a bee is pet, it makes them a little buzz and also releases hearts, and if you pet a bee while it's angry, it'll stop being angry at you. Hopefully it makes managing bees a little bit easier for you and makes you happy to pet the bee. Ultimately, a really useful mod if you get yourself in a lot of trouble with bees a lot of the time, and unironically this has less than 500 downloads on the fabric version of the mod. Moving into our next mod, we've got the better third person mod. This is a very simple mod that just adds in an independent rotation of the camera from the third person view. This is completely client side and is available for both Forge and Fabric. It pretty much is a really interesting mod that just allows you to have a different third person perspective that also allows you to walk in all each direction without having to change your camera rotation. If you use the Lunar client, you're probably familiar with this, as this is kind of similar to the free cam thing, except for the fact that you have the ability to move still whilst this camera is active. Overall, a very cool mod that just gives you a bunch more freedom with your third person camera. Hey, 150% of you guys are currently subscribed, and that is way too many, so kindly hit the unsubscribe button down below. Anyhow, back into the video. Moving on to our next mod, we've got the mod known as Camp Chair. Now the Camp Chair adds a very simple item to the game which you can use as decorations to have seats near your campfire. There are multiple different variants of this one with all the different wood types, as well as the ability to put some wool on top of it to give it a bit of splash of colour. Another cool feature around this is when you sit down on this when you're near a campfire, roughly around 1 block away, you'll actually get a cool regeneration effect as well, which is ultimately very useful when you're wanting to just sit down and rest in front of the campfire, and not only that, it just looks really cool in the first place. Moving into our next mod, we've got a mod known as Villager Names, and this mod does exactly what it says in the tin. It pretty much gives the ability to add all names to unnamed villages with a predefined name. This name will name all old villages and new spawns in the world, and it contains a list of over 5,000 different names, making it very unlikely to encounter two of the same names in the same village. Overall, just a little bit of an extra touch that gives a little bit more variety and immersion to the actual game itself by villagers having their actual names instead of just being known as a librarian or whatever work job that they have as a villager. Moving into our next mod, we've got a mod known as Signpost. Now this mod has in a collection of new styles of signposts you can get in Minecraft. These are extremely highly customizable types of signs. Not only can they be small and skinny and given a random different angle that you choose to set as well, you can also have much thicker signs as well. These are fairly easy to craft, requiring only 2 normal vanilla signs as well as the oak log in order to craft your typical sign. But another beautiful thing is just due to the highly customization to it, you can give custom designs to all these signposts, making each one look a little bit different. Another addition to this is this also includes a collection of different waystones that if you place a signpost on top of them, will actually be able to teleport towards these signs by pressing a sign of the same name in a different location, ultimately allowing for easier teleportation in Minecraft, as well as some cool fast travel. This also works in connection with the waystones mod that I've shown off in previous videos before, as well as so many other cool customizable features that comes along with this mod. Moving on to our next mod, we've got the dual wielding mod. Dual wielding will now be able to find you with a weapon in your offhand as well as your main hand at the same time, as well as just in one hand as well. Ultimately, just a quick explainer, it allows you to have 2 swords in both your hands, which you can use both at roughly the same time, meaning that you can hit just a little bit quicker than the average Minecraft vanilla type of attack battle, and allowing you to do a lot more damage a lot more quicker, just needing to grind up for the extra resources to create a second variation of the same weapon. This also allows you to have multiple different things, such as a Bane of Arthropod sword in one thing, or maybe a Smite sword in one hand and a normal sharpness sword in the other hand, just allowing you to do extra damage to certain style of mobs depending on which ones you come across, as well as the cool different enchantments that you can get on both types of swords. This also works with having an axe or a different type of melee weapon in one hand and having a normal sword in the other, being allow you to disable the person's shield and cover before coming in and attacking with your normal sword. Moving into our next mod, we've got the Graveyard mod. Now this mod has in a whole new spooky biome structure, mobs and blocks to make your Minecraft adventures a little bit more thrilling and challenging. Every structure, mob and biome was built with a lot of attention to the detail to create a massive experience for you. This mod adds in the Haunted Forest biome, a dark and damp spruce wood forest wrapped in a dense bog and full of danger, haunted lakes, steep cliff faces surrounded by blood red water, some say each torch you encounter represents a lost adventurer, eroded haunted forest, strong winds have taken out most of the trees, leaving a barren wasteland home to the deadliest creatures, and an ancient dead coral reef, a long forgotten remains of a once colourful life buzzing with life. Also with a collection of different structures such as a haunted house which has a cool collection of things to look for, as well as a small grave and graveyard, as well as medium and large graveyards, which are quite similar to a cemetery that has a couple of different variants that come with it, as well as a bunch of interesting things and mobs that you might come across that may potentially try to kill you. There are a collection of so many other things in this mod that can't really be explained in this video, but they're all just for surrounding the fact of like a more creepier style mod. Moving into our next mod, we've got the coolelytra roll. If you play any form of bedrock variant of Minecraft, you probably would have noticed that elytra flying has this cool roll effect, especially in the 360 and PlayStation 3 variants of the game that don't exactly get kept updated anymore. This mod is simply just a client-side mod that adds this camera turning feature into the Java version of Minecraft that is ultimately a really cool feature that intimidates the way an airplane would roll when you make maneuvers around. This doesn't exactly change how the elytra flight moves the player or how mouse and keyboard inputs affect the flight, it only affects how the camera acts and how it moves around with while you're flying. Moving on to our next mod, we've got epic knights, shields, armor, and weapons. This mod aims to make the player feel more like a medieval knight. At the moment, the modification contains a lot of brand new banner patterns, 14 sets of armors, 8 types of shields, 24 types of weapons, most of which can be made of the 11 materials: wood, stone, iron, gold, diamond, netherite, steel, which is a new thing, as well as copper, silver, tin, and bronze. These weapons have special features like increased range, armor piercing, and this mod also adds steel to the game, which will not conflict with steel from other modifications. To craft steel, put an iron ingot in a blast furnace. On the latest version, you can apply a banner to an armor and horse armor, just like on a shield, and dye some types of armor. Not everything in this mod will fit on this page, but there's a lot of different things that come with this mod. As I said, there's a huge collection of new types of armors with various different themings across the different style of knight armor that you might be familiar with, as well as multiple different styles of shields that come with it, and a huge collection of different weapons such as maces, joisting sticks, long swords, axes, all these other beautiful bits and pieces, like just a massive collection of different weapons that you may want to play around with that just adds a lot more fun to playing around in Minecraft. Moving on, we've got Kilbys physics. Now this adds in physics to the Minecraft game, and we've of course seen multiple different types of mods like this beforehand. The main idea behind this is utilizing the same physics engine as other AAA titles such as GTA 5, and it has a physics gun that you can also play around with. Ultimately, it makes it so you can play around, just have a little bit more fun with the physics things without it affecting everything in your Minecraft world, as well as explosions are also far more interesting with this as all the blocks become completely unsettled. Overall, an awesome physics-based mod that just adds in a lot more content and a lot more fun when playing around with Minecraft. Moving into our next mod, we've got the magic mirror mod. This one introduces a mirror that reflects the player closest towards it. You can also do multiple different things such as have an armor stand, as well as bits and pieces of other things along those lines. It ultimately shows off what you look like in the mirror. Another cool thing you can do with this is you can swap in with some fancy armor stand to the actual thing itself, add some banners, as well as other beautiful bits and pieces towards it as well. Ultimately allowing you to see what you look like with armor on when using an armor stand without actually having to take it off. You can also have a skeleton cowl in the actual mirror itself to turn your reflection into a form of a skeleton skull. Moving into our next one, we've got a mod known as Miner's Helmet. The mining helmet is a little addition that allows you to have some dynamic lighting throughout the world whilst you're mining around. Whilst yes, you can use a simple thing such as Optifine to achieve roughly a similar effect, the added coolness of this is it also adds in a few mob variations as well. It allows zombies to spawn with an iron pickaxe as well as the helmet as well. It's a nice simple helmet that you can create that allows you to have some dynamic lighting in front of you that works not only in the overworld, but in the nether, in caves, in dark underwater areas, as well as so many other beautiful things as well. Ultimately, just a little bit of an addition that makes it more of an in-game feature rather than just a bonus you get along with Optifine. Moving on to our next mod, we've got the Gilded Armor mod. The Gilded Armor mod adds in gilded netherite armor that allows you to smash a golden ingot on top of each piece of your armor, allowing you to avoid the necessity of swapping out a piece of armor for a gold piece of armor for piglins to not actually go after you and attack you. It has all the same properties of netherite and also retains the enchantments and durability that it was on the netherite piece of armor when you gild it. It just allows you the ability to avoid having to worry about piglins immediately attacking you whenever you go to hang out with them. Moving on, we have the hole filler mod, which is as in a collection of very simple mods that allows you to fill in holes with either dirt, water, lava, or any other different items with simple ease. Of course, one of the big things about this is it only fills up a maximum hole of 12 blocks. If it's anything bigger than that, it will not actually consider it a hole and won't fill it up, saving you from consuming the world with it. Either way, if you did enjoy this video, check out this video on screen now where we go through 20 simple Minecraft mods. Goodbye!